And not just Ariel, Bussani, cum laude, because, hey, if you're from Maastricht University and you pride yourself in having activating student-centered education, isn't it about time that we have a true VIP on stage? A very important psychologist indeed. Your very own Ariel's gonna deliver the graduation speech to you. Ariel, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you very much, Ari, for the introduction. Firstly, to all the professors, staff, faculty members, alumni, honored guests, friends, and family, both here and online, welcome. And to my fellow students, the class of 2024, I say congratulations, we did it. I'm very grateful for the honor to be standing before you to say my goodbyes to this group of students and to say a few words on our behalf. When I first started searching for something worth saying in this speech, I did the same thing that I've done for the past 3 years when I needed to clear my mind. I went for a walk. I passed the Maas River where hundreds of us have traveled daily, going to tutorials, getting groceries, going home, or going out. I passed by cafes and terraces where we caught up with friends on the weekends or spent evenings complaining about never-ending readings while also procrastinating them. I passed by the inner city library. I remembered getting my second home in the Randwick one, those endless revision days before our exams, drinking one too many coffees, taking one too many breaks. And in reflection of the vastly different memories that we all hold of these common spaces, I found something similar to us all sitting here today. We're united in 3 years of knowledge, companionship, and life in the city, but very unique in our futures and the paths we will take after leaving this hall. For many of you, the topics that we've studied will be relevant on a daily basis as psychologists, researchers, professors. But for others, you're still taking the time to find your future or carving a path off the paved road. But regardless of your past at Maastricht or your future beyond it, I found a few things to say that I find worthy to close this chapter with. First, I ask that you would not betray the version of yourself that fought through each day of this degree by ever considering it insignificant. We've learned in courses like Learning in Memory or Functional Neuroanatomy about the intricacy of memory formation. Therefore, we now have the misfortune to be very aware of its many failures. In time, the past 3 years of your life could just be a bullet point on your CV. I advise you to fight against this. Cling to the memories that you've made here, maybe ones of joy, like that daily coffee break with a friend during exam week, maybe learning something that's now become your greatest love. Maybe classmates that became friends, even those that became family. For me, I know I'll cling to the apartment that I shared with my best friend and classmate. This was a home where our late night study sessions almost always became late night talks. And I know that the passage of time will have no strength against the most beloved and mundane memories that I've made there, like waking her up on each exam day with a speaker blaring bad pop music and a choreographed dance, or waving goodnight to our friends as they left our front door. But on the opposing side, maybe me talking about significance brings up memories of a time that tested your character more than the MEC tested our memorization. And I cannot know what difficulties you faced in these 3 years, but by seeing you seated here today, I know that you faced them well. Maybe an overwhelming course, a resit, even a retake, maybe family difficulties, that sick-to-stomach feeling of realizing just how far away from home you are and how grown up we've suddenly been forced to become. So now that I forced us all to recall our most difficult memories of this degree, it's a great speech, what are we left to do with these memories? Well, you can let them drift to the back of your mind, stuff them somewhere behind the definition of Maslow's hierarchy of needs or how an fMRI machine works. But I tell you, cling to these as well. And at each crossroads in which you face something difficult, be reminded that after everything you've traversed during this program, you can find a way forward still. But let me continue even further to your future. If there ever does come a day where you wonder, what was the point of these 3 years? Let me remind you that everything you've learned is based on you. We often separate the personal experiences of our life from the classwork we encounter, and I think that's a devastating accident. Many of us have entered this program with a desire to understand humanity better, but we've forgotten to include ourselves in that equation. Together, we've spent years diving into our own bodies, our own minds, and holding them at a distance, analyzing, interpreting, spending hours pulling out our hair over SPSS and statistics. And I hope that you can now turn that insight inwards. The brilliant thing about our degree is that it is the rare case in which the more you learn about a topic, the more you learn about yourself. Please do not forget that every miracle phenomenon we found in textbooks is based on the very mind that you possess. Allow me to illustrate this point with just a few examples. I recall still some day in November of our second year, sitting in the UNS 50 computer labs, staring down into a microscope at the most beautiful artistry I'd ever seen. It was Golgi stains of the pyramidal cells contained in our own neocortex. Textbook diagrams had taught us how these neurons were fashioned to help us learn and adapt to the world, but seeing them myself was something different. And in moments now where I doubt my ability for change or my capacity for growth, I remember the millions of neurons within me. I remember staring down at my mind turned inside out at the orange hue of those brilliantly webbed dendrites. I recall in the last months of our third year, we were spending hours studying imaging methods. In one of our lectures, a classmate was hooked up to the EEG, and we watched the waveforms jump and sputter as she blinked and made decisions. And in witnessing this simple imaging technique, I've never been so overwhelmingly aware of how complicated it is to be alive. And now, in moments of the mundane, I remember the miracle of those dancing lines and how nothing is ever as simple as we ignorantly think it to be. Lastly, I recall getting tangled up in theories of social psychology very early on in our degree. And all those memories and all those theories, like of the cloth mother, moral dilemmas, bystander effects, and mirror neurons, all boil down to the acceptance that we are inherently built for each other, for a community. And as I now interact with those around me or observe the cruel behavior in politics and cultural conflicts, I can find a mercy in knowing that we are each just individuals simply seeking identity and belonging. Allow me to summarize with this. No matter your plans for the future or lack thereof, please never be ignorant enough to think you've wasted time if you are not practically using each course. In sitting here today, congratulations, you've earned a diploma. Yet what an utter loss if you think this is the only thing you've gained in all this time. I hope you've also earned a deeper respect and understanding for yourself and a new perspective in how you'll interact with both your peers and your outsiders. In my last words, I'd like to express my deep admiration for each and every one of you. We've sat together in tutorials, in lectures, filled the halls of UNS 40 and 50, and the Benditos at Oxfordland. I'm incredibly grateful for the time we've had together, and I'm sure in a few years, I'll have a deep longing to re-experience even the most dead silent tutorial room. I'd like to conclude with a few final thank yous. Thank you to the teachers, the mentors, professors that dedicated their time and passion to furthering our knowledge. Thank you to the staff and the faculty members who've invested their lives into furthering the work done at FPN. Thank you to the parents and the guidance figures who've supported us, altogether making our journey to today possible. Lastly, thank you all for your time and attention during this speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ariel. Can I just add this to your... Thank you very much. And I would like to join you in the admiration that you talked about, the admiration for these young, talented people.